One sec. Okay, we're going to start that again. I was trying to shut off the volume. So, hi, everybody. It's still me. It's Andra Annette. I just wanted to record this. I'm here with my friend, Atharvar Kapoor, and she's an assertiveness coach, and she's a healer and also a teacher. So I'm really trying to highlight women because we have so many impactful women out there that are really stepping into being that wonderful woman that they are. So I really want to take some time every week for you to meet different women. So I'm going to introduce you to Atharvar and give her a warm welcome for me, please. Hello, my sweetie.
Hello, Andra. Thank you so much for having me here. Really honored.
It's my pleasure. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do with women and how you help them with empowering them to become more assertive?
Totally. Yeah. So I realized that empowerment for especially women empath entrepreneurs, so like spiritual women, coaches, healers, teachers, empowerment is super important because all we want to do is give to everyone else. And we don't really step back and receive. But it's so important to kind of maintain that balance. And that's where I come in. I help women entrepreneurs go from overwhelm to peace. And I specialize in helping empath women, healers, coaches, and teachers. Because this is one thing that I struggled with for so many years. And so when I finally got it, I was like, oh my God, I need to help other women feel that peace is possible. You don't have to always be buzzing over here, right? Like overwhelm feels like routine to so many of us that we don't even know that it's possible to actually accomplish good things while being at peace and centered and grounded. So I would say this is not very short, but this is what I do.
But I really love that. When I first started online, I felt very overwhelmed because it's a very crowded space. And I felt like I had to give more, all the time. And so what you said holds true. And I think that's very common with a lot of people because, we want to give value, but we sometimes don't know where to draw the line, because I have people reaching out to me that don't understand some of the things I give. And then I give 6 more things that will help them understand it better. So, but I don't step back and really take that balance sometimes for myself. So I really appreciate what you do because I'm one of those people that gets stuck there sometimes. So what has been your experience? What has been the most difficult part about them really reclaiming themselves?
First of all, thank you for sharing that, Andra. Thank you for sharing your part of the story. And I don't know, what is more difficult is them seeing how radiant they are. I can see that. I can see how radiant they are, how beautiful, amazing, powerful women they are, right? But it's hard when we're judging ourselves, when we're not talking to ourselves the way we would to our best friend. If our dear friend messed up big, we would be like, hey girl, this is okay. This is nothing. You're okay. And we make the slightest mistake. And oh my God, it's like we judge ourselves so hard. We do not cut ourselves any slack, right? So that patience with our own self, I feel that learning, understanding, and we understand it here, everybody does, but implementing it, that's the hardest. That's what I found.
I think that's a very big point. I just started telling my story. Like I tell different parts of my story all the time, but those things maybe I wouldn't have mentioned before, like how I was not always secure, growing up, your friends, all good friends say, oh, you're beautiful, don't be ridiculous, so you don't know, you don't accept that when they say that as well. Like sometimes we're really great at giving compliments but not really good at receiving them. I'm guilty of that. Oh, this old thing, like I'm not really good at receiving. I don't know why, I've never been. But I find it very freeing because you know that I'm in this book, we know each other from We Team. So I find that it's very consistent with all women that we somehow feel like we're not enough. And we don't really love on ourselves like we would our best friends or a family member that we love. So how do we break that cycle and start appreciating our individuality and selves for who we are?
That is such a powerful question. We are not accustomed to receiving is the reason we do not receive. And to break that cycle, this one really powerful tip, okay? When you wake up in the morning, while you're in bed, give yourself a hug and be like, okay, what do you want today? What can I do for you today? Be the first person you give to, right? Be the person. That way you're you're also the person who receives. And when you honor yourself first thing in the morning, you know somewhere deep down that I'm important, I matter, right? That I am important. And different things will come. It's not like a very long meditation that you have to get into right in the morning. No, just close your eyes for like 30 seconds and be like, hey girl, just checking in. What is it that you need today? And it might be like an hour-long extra nap in the afternoon, or maybe go read that book, watch that movie. Hey, call it a day and just like maybe just stay in the bed a little longer. Or it might be something deeper, like, what are you doing at this company? You don't really like it there. And that's okay if big things come. Don't get scared. It's okay. Stay with the feeling. And then in your meditation or whatever practice, spiritual practice you have, sit with that and then ask for guidance and steps. Don't be scared of what comes. Just let it flow. This little practice, when you keep doing this, you will develop that receiving muscle, that muscle of loving, and even before love, accepting who we are, right? Like a lot of people jump to self-love. Such a big word. I mean, it's such a big word. Let's start with self-acceptance. To receive, you must know that you're worthy of receiving. And we all know it here. It's like very conceptual. We know it, But then what about here in your heart? Do you really feel you're deserving of that extra space or that extra time? So yeah, that is my 2 cents.
I think it was The Go-Giver. I'm not sure. I might be talking about the wrong book, but they talk about giving and receiving, and that you're not really being a very good host if you're always giving and you don't receive. And I thought it was very powerful the way that they explain that in the book. And I felt guilty, and I tried to, when someone said a compliment, just say thank you. But it's hard. It's a cycle to break. I've honestly never woken up in the morning and hugged myself. I'm going to try it. We'll see tomorrow. But I do things like meditation, affirmations. Every morning I do that for the first hour. I find that it really helps. It kind of makes me feel closer to God. Like, there's this whole phase I go through, like I'm whole, I'm powerful, I'm perfect, I'm harmoniously happy, and then, harmoniously loving, and then happy. So like I go through these little things in my head to try to get me into that space, because I never know how the day is going to progress and if it's going to remain that way. So I try to give myself that hour on the commute to work and on the hour home. Is that good?
It's very powerful. Very powerful. Giving any sort of spiritual practice in which you are just connecting with yourself is a great start, Andra. Awesome start. Because you're giving yourself that space to just be. And then you do your thing, and that's a way of connecting with our own self, right? And that's the path to self-acceptance. Yes. Oh, that is amazing. And I also wanted to add about this accepting compliments thing. I caught myself doing this so many years back Then I realized this concept, and I'm like, gee, I really never say thank you when someone says, right, hey, you look beautiful today. No, I know I've just, washed my hair. They're looking more silky today. I don't know. Some silly excuse. Of course I washed my hair. Like, like what kind of an excuse is that? Why would I just not say thank you? Hey, you look pretty. Oh, it's just a lipstick. No, it's lipstick on my face. It's how I look at it, right? Like I did I still do this. Everyone, it's a journey, like you said. It's a journey, it takes a while. The only difference is now I'm more aware. I catch myself in the act and then I say, no, okay, I receive it. you know?
It's really hard to get used to too. Especially like at one point I was really overweight. So when someone would make a compliment, I would feel like almost like they felt bad for me, like that's where it came from. And that was just the way I perceived it, and that was my own, unhappiness with self, I guess. And I had a really good friend at the time. And I was going down size by size. I went from like a 16 to an 8. And then she got ill and we didn't see each other for a little while. And the next time she saw me, I had gone from that 8 to that 3. And she used to tell me that I had body dysmorphia, that I just had to love myself for who I was. That's what she used to tell me. So the next time she saw me, she said, "Oh my God, Andra, what happened?" I said, "I guess I got over that body dysmorphia." I said, "Because I'm finally happy." So she would laugh about that. But even today, when I'm confident in my own skin, I still have difficulty. It's not a matter of confidence at this point. It's just I've spent so many years making excuses for those silly compliments. Oh, I love that outfit. Oh, I got it at Target. Like I felt like I needed to tell them where to get it, or it was cheap, or instead of just saying thank you. It was like it was so hard just to say thanks, take the compliment and walk away. And
I almost felt guilty accepting the compliment and saying thank you. Like thank you was like so rude in my head. You know what I mean? Like I had to say something. Oh, you look nice too. Oh, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like I actually somehow balance the scales if it means something,
yes.
Or right. So that was totally. Thank you for sharing this. This is powerful stuff that we're talking about today. Thank you.
Do you find that people that you work with, that it stems from relationships growing up? I mean, when we were younger, I'm clearly much older than you. There was a lot of peer pressure then, but not like you hear of today. There wasn't so much bullying. Certainly people were mean, but do you find that environments has an impact of who they are now? Or because there's always that old nature versus nurture. So I wonder what your take is on that.
Totally. Yeah, it matters a lot, like a lot. When I'm in my true element, I'm this confident, beaming person who just wants to love the person in front of them. And I love channeling, and I'll just tell them, hey, this is what's coming through, and we'll talk and it will go awesome. But this was not the case always, right? Because the person who I truly am was like covered by all these learnings, right? Like my body and my brain, like they learned things like, okay, when this happens, when you say this, when you're confident, when you're shining, someone will come and dim your light. You'll be ridiculed, you'll be made fun of, you'll be bullied. Because these horrible, horrible things. I started working on releasing them from my psyche because they were not going. And they had, when I say they, what I mean is these situations and these people and whatever happened in the past, right? Growing up and the bullying, and I lived in a hostel, and then that was a whole thing. I loved the learning, made me a better, confident woman today. But that time was very hard to deal with. And to unlearn those patterns and those conditioning. It took 10 years, no kidding. And I'm still working on stuff. So, I mean, yeah, like it totally matters. Environment matters. People you're surrounding yourself with matters, especially while growing up, because you don't know good from bad, right from wrong, what's in your light versus what's kind of dimming it, you know? And so it was hard. Yeah, it was.
There's a gentleman called Shad Helmstetter, and he talks about neuroplasticity in the brain and how you can relearn anything. When I tell you how many mornings I spend with Shad Helmstetter just pumping me up for the day, that, telling me that I could be anything I want to be. He does them for business. He does them for weight loss. He does it for everything. And he tells you that, like, over the course of our lives, when by the time we're 18, that over 100,000 times we've heard the word no. So we're conditioned to know we can't, no, that's not appropriate. So it's not very accepting, the word no, by nature. It's usually stigmatized as you're doing something wrong, like today, so when you tell a child no, it's usually like a warning. So these are the things that are imprinting in our brain. And he says that over time it does get easier, but it's not easy in the beginning. And he talks about two children growing up in the same household, but becoming two totally different people based on their environment, both in the home and outside, and how they like embraced what was told to them. Like one could be really successful and the other not at all. And how that self-talk really, one was able to really say, okay, I'm not going to let that get to me, and shrug it off, and the other just like swallowed all of those feelings and embraced what others had said, and it limited him in his life. So when I listen to the way he explains it, I find that it's very true with society and balance today. And I mean, certainly there's good and bad in everybody, but I mean, I've said things to people sometimes, maybe not thinking them or meaning them to be hurtful, but you never know what's going on in somebody else's life or somebody else's day. I mean, there were certainly days, if you said to me, Andra, you look good today, I would have been in tears because I was this close to my breaking, like I was having such a hard week or a hard day, or everything around me was falling apart. So I think we have to learn to be a little kinder to one another. What do you think?
Yeah, kinder and accepting in general. Right? Like people have different point of views, and it's not essential that what we think or what we feel is right, unless it's, of course, the definition of right or wrong is so elusive that just being kind and being patient and accepting almost covers it. Right?
Okay.
If it feels good to you, if it feels good in your heart, if it feels soul aligned, it's right. But if you said something which you feel like, oh, that guilt, that lingering thing that, oh, maybe I should have said that, maybe that hurt that person, listen to it, right? Just closure is so important to so many of us, especially with things that we never got it for, right? That working on it, releasing it, it's so hard. I find with my clients that when we're talking and when we are trying to get closure is so important. So if in our hearts we feel that, okay, this is maybe something wrong I did, just go back and fix it. If you cannot fix it, just go apologize. Just try to give that person or that situation a little bit of closure, because it's going to be helpful in their healing journey. We never know what sort of impact we have on other people's lives. So yeah.
I was one of those people that harbored, like when I was a grudge, and I mean, I have a friend that she's been in my life forever, but she had been through, like, I want to say 10 years of hell, one thing bad happening after another. And she was so positive, and she had all these good things to say, and every day was very grateful for everything she had. And I said to her, how did you learn to forgive? She goes, well, forgiving's really for me. She said, if I'm angry at them, they don't care. They're living their own life. And that was the really, because of her situations. I mean, other people had said that to me, but that's when I really like took that in and understood it for its value, and how much weight that wording really had, that whole statement, you know, and that all these years that like I had been holding on to things, that it was me that it was really affecting. And this has a lot to do with that closure you're talking about, because a lot of those things kept me stuck. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. And also another thing, to be patient with ourselves when we are on this releasing journey, because then we feel like we've kind of forgiven or we have moved past that, or when we say I'm over it, maybe we are, but maybe we aren't. And different things act as triggers, and those emotions come flooding back in, right? And at that time, don't judge yourself. I thought I was over it. It's okay. You thought you were over it. You were over most of it. Well, this little bit is remaining, and let's work on that and release it. And then we don't want that person, just like you said. This is so powerful. And I just feel like, hey, listen, that person, those people, situations, whatever, they're enjoying their life. Their life is going on for them. It's going on for them. It's you who are being affected. It's us who's being brought down, and we're reliving the thing that doesn't even exist for other people or in the physical reality. But we get it here. But in our hearts, to experience it, to be patient with ourselves, right? To release it. That takes time, and it's okay. Just we've got to be patient with ourselves. That's it. Like how we would be with a dear friend, right? Versus with ourselves, it's like, hey, I thought I was over it, and now this again. Why am I feeling so bad? It's okay you're feeling so bad. It's okay. This is an uncomfortable emotion that's trying to be released, and it's telling you something has triggered it. Let's just work through that and just be patient with yourself. Patience with our own selves is so hard to come by for people, right? Like they'll be the most patient person in the whole world for everyone else but themselves, me included, right? And then we have to just, us being coaches and healers, I feel like the one main thing that changes is awareness. We catch ourselves in the act, and then we have these tools and techniques that we kind of apply. But it doesn't mean we're not human anymore and that these things don't happen with us anymore. Yeah,
It's so true. I know that I should do more breath work. I know that when I get angry about something, I don't take 3 deep breaths, and I go from 0 to 10 and then step back and say, okay, I gotta breathe. So like I know that I'm imperfect at lots of areas, but and sometimes it's easier to tell other people, because we as coaches and healers and stuff, we know the effects that it has when we ourselves do it, but we are just as guilty, because we're human. We're not perfect. We can still get upset and things like that. It doesn't mean that our life is like 100% all the time. We try to be the people that we're helping others to become, but it's not as easy as everybody makes it out to be, and it is work. It's daily work. I worked with a coach, Evan Bagan, and he would say your life is your marketing. So how you show up in every day really is how you help people. So he said, focus on being the best you every day. And I was like, wow, okay, I could do that. That's easy enough. But I know that you also work with chakras. Can you explain? Like a lot of people don't really know where it is, and like you have certain different chakras in your body. And can you explain a little of that for people listening that might not understand?
So consider chakras as your energy centers. And there are, just like we have veins and arteries, there are energy lines, right? Energy comes in and out of your chakras. They're like the main regulatory centers. There are many, but most people focus on the main 7, starting from your bottom, that's your root, till your head, that's your crown. And if you're just starting out, the main basic thing that I want to tell you is it's just a regulation. It's just removing energy blockages. And what causes energy blockages? I'll tell you in the simplest concept ever. This lip balm or this bottle, it's the same as my hand or me or the laptop because it's all energy. It appears different, feels different. We smell it. We perceive it differently because of how dense or lightly sparse the molecules are, the atoms are, the tiny, tiny, tiny particles are. Just the spatial arrangement of it all, right? The denser it's packed, you can feel it, like the tables, this bottle. At the end of the day, we're all energy. So whatever thoughts we have, whatever things we do, it's just energy changing forms. So simply put, imagine me not like my hair, my face, my body, my clothes, no, like a giant ball of energy, giant ball of goo, okay? And if I have some negative thought, if I think, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, am I actually helping people? What is that? That's self-doubt, that's negativity. That has lesser vibration. It's heavy energy. It stays in your body. When more such energy stays in your body, causes blockages because it's not going anywhere. It's dense and it's just sitting right there. And it's not letting your life force flow. It's not letting the energy of the actual your energy flow. And it causes a blockage. Over time, it manifests as dis-ease. You know, instead of disease, I'm saying it dis-ease because that's what it is truly, right? And then the concept of chakras is just that they're the regulatory centers of these energies coming in and out, moving all around the energy meridians of our body. And we just want to keep that flow going. It's like showering from the inside out, right? So you take baths, you remove all the dirt and the gunk from your physical body, and chakras help you maintain that flow of energy in your energy body, like in your actual energy body. That's the simplest way to put it. So don't get overwhelmed with it. Just think of them as energy centers, right? And most people, when we work with the 7 main chakras, they're like 7, right? So this is a crown, then you have the third eye, you have the throat, and so on. So they're like 7. Those are the main. But there's so many tiny chakras as well.
Your heart.
Your heart, your solar plexus, sacral, your root, right? Every main, isn't it funny how almost every main thing is a chakra? Like your heart, your solar plexus. Solar plexus is right where your tummy is, right? A little bit above your navel. So like every main thing, and I say main in terms of how much energy it uses, right? Food, we digest food, we use so much energy there. Right? Heart full of emotions, head is always kind of going on, right? We have throat, that's how we communicate. So many of these things are it's just a different way to put it. So don't feel overwhelmed by what it is. It's just energy regulation, clearing, cleansing. That's it. That's all it is.
My friend, I probably wasn't the best advocate for it before I tried it myself. My girlfriend, Carrie, is like an energy healer, and I must have had so much negative energy and stress in my body. And she asked me what I wanted before the session. And I said, I want my mind to shut off. I'm always thinking, and it just stresses me out. And be careful what you wish for, because I felt very light. Like she takes me on this journey when she does it, and I pull things from the journey. But I remember walking to the train the next day, and when I swear I was empty-headed, not a single thought in my head. I was like, oh my God, what did she do to me? I'm like a mental moron today. And I really physically, like my mind is always thinking and racing and you know, over crazy, silly stuff that when you ask yourself how important is it really, it's not. And I couldn't believe it. And, you know, and then I had several more sessions, and every time I noticed a different feeling afterwards. They weren't always the same, probably based on the energy that I was holding. But a lot of people that are into mindset really focus on chakra and vibration. Like the higher the vibration, the, you know, if you're trying to achieve like abundance, you need higher vibrations like love and happiness and things like that. So do you believe in all that? You must, right? Because you're very aware of it.
I do believe in it. And it's sometimes hard to regulate our emotions, especially when something big is happening in our lives, or we're like really exhausted, or the physical or the outer reality does not match what we have in here or our vision for ourselves. Just aim for joy. If something doesn't bring you joy, and I know it's harder to implement this, but once you start implementing it, to everyone who's watching, once you start implementing it, life becomes so much simpler. It's not like everything will magically disappear and things will be super easy, but decision making becomes so much easier. If something doesn't bring you joy, it's not in your highest good. It's probably not gonna get you to a higher vibrational place. And you probably want to just slowly move away from that thing. Whatever brings you joy, even if it doesn't make sense up here, but it feels really great in here, and you feel peaceful and happy and creative, and it's like, oh my God, my creative juices are flowing, even if other people don't understand it, or you yourself don't understand it, be patient with yourself, because that will take you to a higher vibrational state immediately, and be patient with it. That might just be your life purpose. Just saying, whatever brings you joy is the thing we mostly came here to do. Like, not at the cost of sounding preachy. This is one thing that I've really, really tried to implement in my life, and it has changed so many things. Like, literally. I've turned my career around like 360 degrees, not in 180. And following, I don't know who said this. I think I heard it from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. Like, follow your bliss. And that's all we meant to, that's why we came here. To feel this joy, experience this divine joy, and to bring it to others. If we are not joyful, if we are really low here, how can we give anything to anyone that we don't have? Oh, okay, something came to my head. So I love Dr. Dyer's lectures. I love his lectures, and I have like a whole library of it. But one thing, I think it was Dr. Dyer, in one of his seminars, he was like, you know how when someone triggers you, if you're really angry, that's what's there inside. Because how can you give something to someone that you yourself do not yet have? If you're peaceful inside, you'll help others reach that state. If you're happy, you'll bring happiness, right? Like, if I have water and you want water, I'll give it to you because I have it. If I don't have it, how can I give water to you? I might give you my phone. I might give you this mouse because I have it, but not water because I don't. So whatever comes out when we're triggered is a thing we're harboring inside. So this whole concept of higher vibration, lower vibration, I believe in it, but I'm so stunned at things that come out when I'm triggered, for example, right? And then I'm like, oh, geez, what's that inside me? Okay, without judgment, I'm gonna work on this now. Like, I'm not saying this to judge yourself. Be patient, everyone, but like, you find what's in there, and that's the thing that's holding you stuck when you talk about things like abundance, higher vibration, manifestation. Does that make sense at all?
It does. It makes a lot of sense, and I concur. I believe in it too, but I always ask if someone else does. I don't try to push my views on anyone else, because I know when I'm in a place of happy and joyous that my days just progress that much better, and there are days that you wake up tired, grumpy and stuff. I don't let myself get out of bed. I stay there and, I think my day through. I say my gratitude prayers right then and there before my feet even hit the floor, and it does really change how you react to people too, I think, if you are more grateful for the things that you have in your own life, it makes it easier to be kind to other people if you have a grateful heart. That's just my view, you know. I
Totally.
wasn't always that way. It's a process. It's years and years and years of working at it. I was a little crank myself. But I really enjoyed this talk with you, and I could talk to you forever, but unfortunately
Me
we're
too.
on their time too. But we will continue this chat out of we. So what I would really like is, do you have a Facebook page where people can reach out to you?
I do, yes. Um, so I realized that the links were kind of increasing and the value I wanted to give people. So
Okay.
I made a Linktree account, and this Linktree link actually has a link to my Facebook page, a freebie that they can get, and all the resources that I have. So
Okay.
have at it. Click on the link and have at it.
Okay, so I'm going to share that. But as far as Facebook, what's the name of your page? So if they're interested.
Totally. It's Atharvar Kapoor Academy. So I can pop in a link. Just give me a minute, or they can find the link on Linktree, but it's Atharvar Kapoor Academy.
Okay, because I'm gonna leave your link tree below it so they can reach out to you. I think this is really something that people need more of, whether they're at that point where they think they need it or not. Because it is more, it really is for us, you know. We have a lot of people, not just women, you know. I'm in a book about women, inspiring women, but it's not just women. There are a lot of men that don't love on themselves and understand what great value they are, what great providers they are at, you know, showing up every day for work and stuff. So I want people to, you know, to start loving on themselves, you know, and I think the more that people come forward and talk about that it wasn't always that way for them, and share those deep dark secrets, that they'll kind of be free and see that it's okay, you know, just to be you. Does that make sense?
It's totally okay just to be you. The whole thing of all the, whatever resentment or lower gen emotions we have, it's all because we don't love or accept ourselves. So totally just be you and you'll be totally awesome, more than fine. And this reminds me, Andra, if I may, I'm actually going to start a free challenge. It's not a challenge. I don't like the word. Still coming up, thinking of a name for it, but it's a 21-day free thing in my group. I'll post about it on my page. So if anyone's interested, do attend. I wanted to host this because holidays are coming and they can be especially hard for people to process emotions and the whole thing. And I just wanted to, so it's free, no strings attached, but you will find it on my page. So yes.
Well, you'll see me there, because I think the holidays are really hard for everybody. I lost a lot of family members, so even though this isn't recent, I mean, you know, we're talking a decade ago and more, it's still during the holidays, I get very emotional. So for me, I'll be there. Okay. So I'm going to sign off out of Facebook. I want to thank you all for listening to us today. This has been Arthur Kapoor. She's amazing. So please feel free to check the link and see how she might help you be more empowered and assertive, right? All right,
Yes.
guys, have a great day.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you,
going to
Andra.
shut off the live, but you could stay, baby, okay?
Yes, totally.
Okay, so they're done. Uh-oh.